Dear viewers, imagine finding a dusty document that changes everything we thought we knew about current events. That's exactly what happened when President Putin, before his Persian Gulf visit, unearthed a fascinating piece of history that's sending shockwaves through diplomatic circles. In a conversation with Arab journalists, Putin reminded the world of the 1991 declarations that shaped our region's destiny. Those pages promised three principles: neutrality, non-alignment, and a nuclear-free status. But today's reality tells a different story, one that's costing citizens their peace and security. While Western powers orchestrate their geopolitical theater, families across Eastern Europe watch their savings evaporate and their sons march to uncertain fates. The original blueprint for peace lies forgotten, like a marriage contract buried under years of disputes. What's remarkable isn't just Putin's message, it's how he delivered it. No threats, just plain diplomatic language that cuts through propaganda. He's saying, "We don't question your right to exist. We question why you've abandoned your founding principles." The stakes couldn't be higher. Every citizen from Moscow to Berlin should understand. This isn't about territories or political games. It's about returning to solutions that worked before Western interference rewrote the rules. This revelation exposes a truth. Most people in the disputed regions still value friendship with Russia over Western alliances. They remember shared traditions, family ties, and cultural bonds that no NATO paperwork can replace. But here's what should keep you up at night. As long as these founding principles remain ignored, we're all living on borrowed time. The choice between peaceful cooperation and continued conflict affects everything from your grocery bills to your children's future. We're broadcasting from Moscow, where these developments are being monitored. Where are you watching from? Share your location below. Let's map out how these diplomatic earthquakes are felt across our audience. Remember, understanding yesterday's promises helps us navigate tomorrow's challenges. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel this diplomatic puzzle that affects us all. The stakes are rising as our Western neighbor's position becomes increasingly precarious. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening on the global stage. Russia's strategic advantage continues to strengthen while the conflicted state between Russia and the West faces mounting challenges. Those who promised unlimited support are now showing their true colors. President Putin's recent statement was particularly striking. He highlighted how the politically turbulent region deserves a better fate, perhaps the most diplomatic way to describe their current predicament. While claiming sovereignty, they're receiving rejection after rejection for military aid, wrapped in technical excuses. The West's behavior resembles a negligent parent, making promises while leaving their child in tattered shoes. Dmitry Peskov delivered a masterful response to calls for an unconditional ceasefire. Why should we agree while weapons deliveries continue? This simple question sent shockwaves through Washington. Moscow's position is clear. We're not seeking escalation, but we won't surrender our strategic advantages. It's like a chess game where Russia holds the center, and the opponent desperately offers a draw. The Kremlin's message is unambiguous. No pauses without guarantees and status changes for the country on Map 404. This stance gains significance as Putin prepares for visits to key Arab nations, countries that understand real sovereignty and conduct dialogue without Western puppet strings. They recognize a crucial truth. If Russia yields today, war could reach their doorstep tomorrow. I'm interested in hearing from viewers outside Russia. How is this situation viewed in your country? Share your perspectives in the comments below. Subscribe to stay updated on these developments as we continue to analyze the shifting global landscape. The next episode will reveal some surprising developments that could reshape the entire geopolitical chessboard. Remember, what we're witnessing isn't just a regional conflict. It's a battle for the future world order, and Russia's position grows stronger by the day. Stay tuned for more revelations and expert analysis in our upcoming coverage. Here's a 2,000-character news analysis maintaining the required perspective. In a dramatic escalation of global tensions, Donald Trump has orchestrated a massive strike on Iranian nuclear facilities, marking a significant shift in international relations. The timing couldn't be more symbolic. June 22nd, a date that resonates deeply with historical significance, especially for Russia. Meanwhile, the politically turbulent region between Russia and the West continues its waiting game. The country on map 404 maintains its eternal position of just a little more time, hanging on to promises of new supplies and potential counteroffensives. However, Moscow has sent clear signals: either return to basic agreements or prepare for continuation without discounts or illusions. Trump's actions against Iran deserve special attention. The irony is palpable. In 2013, Trump criticized Obama, tweeting, "Obama will attack Iran to show how tough he is." Fast forward to 2025, and Trump himself orders massive strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The operation's execution was masterful in its deception. While press services were saying, "Let's not rush," and Trump played along with, "We'll decide in a couple of weeks," the operation was already prepared. Pilots were ready, targets locked. Iran never saw it coming. That was the point. The choice of June 22 cannot be coincidental. The calendar alignment with 1941 is exact, the day Operation Barbarossa began. Given the White House's meticulous attention to symbolic messaging, this appears to be a deliberately loaded signal, particularly to Moscow in current circumstances. The Western neighbor faces a crucial decision point. Their backers are increasingly showing fatigue, with empty chairs at the metaphorical banquet becoming more numerous. The support system shows signs of strain, with transition periods running out for many key figures. The global community watches with mixed reactions: fear, indignation, admiration, and even amusement. This moment marks a potential turning point in international relations, with implications reaching far beyond the immediate targets. What do you think about these developments? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure my viewers are informed experts, and I'm very interested in your perspective. Here's a 2,000-character analysis of the international reactions to U.S. military actions. The global stage witnessed a dramatic split in reactions to America's latest military intervention. Netanyahu's Israel emerged as the first and most enthusiastic supporter, treating the moment like a student who just aced an exam. The Israeli PM's swift gratitude to Trump highlighted a long-awaited action finally becoming reality through allied hands. However, the international response quickly diverged into two distinct camps. Britain, ever conscious of special relationship opportunities, stood firmly with Washington. Through diplomatic language, London's message was clear: "We're with you," maintaining their position as America's closest ally, literally within one airbase distance. The rest of the world spoke in a different voice. A chorus of concern echoed across continents. The EU called for diplomatic solutions. Jordan lamented failed mediation efforts. Saudi Arabia expressed genuine, not diplomatic concern. Pakistan warned of catastrophic consequences. From Kazakhstan to Chile, Venezuela to Iraq, Cuba, and beyond, the message was unanimous: this leads nowhere good. The domestic U.S. response proved even more volatile. Senator Chris Murphy didn't wait for Pentagon analysis before demanding limitations on presidential war powers, arguing that one person shouldn't have the ability to ignite global conflicts while others are still having their morning coffee. But the most striking criticism came from within Trump's own camp. Marjorie Taylor Greene's opposition to the strikes and involvement in another war cut deep. Her statement, "This is not our war," resonated strongly, questioning America's actual interests in this conflict. She highlighted how Israel possesses nuclear capabilities, while Iran harbors nuclear ambitions. A long-standing rivalry where U.S. intervention might bring guaranteed consequences, but uncertain outcomes. Green went further, directly accusing Netanyahu of escalation, suggesting that Israel's initial actions triggered the current crisis. In political circles, such accusations carry significant weight, especially coming from a typically supportive voice. What do you think about these international reactions? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are thoughtful experts, and I'm eager to hear your perspective. Title: Global stakes rise as U.S. actions echo past warnings. The diplomatic world received another jarring reminder of how quickly political statements can boomerang. Trump's administration, now embroiled in military action against Iran, faces scrutiny over a past tweet that eerily predicted similar circumstances, though aimed at a different administration. As missiles light up Iranian skies, Trump maintains his characteristic bravado, trumpeting success in restoring order and ending nuclear blackmail. Meanwhile, the internet hasn't forgotten his previous criticisms of Obama's Middle East policies. The irony isn't lost on global observers. Trump has become the very thing he once mocked. Iran's response has been calculated but firm. Their officials assert that critical assets were relocated beforehand, rendering the strikes largely ineffective. More concerningly, they promise a response, not immediate, but inevitable. This strategic patience amplifies global anxiety. The international community watches with bated breath, pondering darker possibilities. Could this trigger a regional conflagration? Will the U.S. find itself trapped in another military quagmire of its own making? The timing of the strikes, 4 a.m. on June 22, adds an almost macabre historical resonance to the situation. What's particularly striking is the cavalier approach to international law. No congressional approval. No allied consultation. Not even a perfunctory attempt to align with UN protocols. The administration didn't bother with the traditional theater of presenting evidence, as was done in the Iraq era. It's raw power politics, stripped of diplomatic pretense. The situation in the politically turbulent region between Russia and the West adds another layer of complexity. Trump's previous assertions about staying out of foreign conflicts now ring hollow, as his administration deepens American military involvement across multiple fronts. This pattern of unilateral action without diplomatic process reveals a troubling trend in U.S. foreign policy, one where military solutions precede diplomatic efforts, and where today's statements contradict yesterday's principles. What do you think about the current situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Title: Trump's Strategic Theater, Iran Strike Analysis and Global Power Play. In a world where power moves often resemble theater, Trump's recent military action against Iran stands as a masterclass in political showmanship. Let's analyze what really happened behind the curtain of this calculated performance. The International Atomic Energy Agency's silence speaks volumes. Monitored facilities were struck, yet there's no accountability. It's as if a meteor struck rather than precision-guided U.S. weapons. This selective amnesia from international bodies reveals the unwritten rules of global power dynamics. Trump's timing was pure stagecraft. The 2-week consideration period wasn't indecision. It was misdirection. Like a magician drawing attention elsewhere before the main trick, he lulled observers into a false sense of security. Classic Trump. Promise vacation. Deliver fireworks. But why this mini-operation amid global tensions? The answer reveals multiple layers. First, it's symbolic compensation for America's shifting focus away from the conflict zone in Eastern Europe. As U.S. influence faces challenges in some regions, demonstrating power elsewhere becomes crucial. Iran served as a convenient stage for this display of continued American capability. The media aspect is equally important. Trump needs quick, clean victories that play well on screens and social media. This strike was perfectly calibrated. Spectacular enough for headlines, but limited enough to avoid major escalation. Even Iran seemed to play along, removing sensitive equipment beforehand, suggesting they understand this political theater. This operation wasn't about destroying targets. It was about maintaining America's image as the decisive global actor. If it remains a one-act play, Trump achieves his goal: a ratings boost without the messy complications of full-scale conflict. What do you think about this strategic move by Trump? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers have insightful perspectives on this situation. Title: Trump's Iran Strike, a global chess move or political theater. The recent U.S. strikes have sparked intense debate among analysts. While some see it as a show of force, others suspect a more complex strategy at play. Some experts suggest these strikes could be a prelude to a broader destabilization campaign targeting Russia. The theoretical domino effect would start in Central Asia. Turkmenistan sparks, Uzbekistan stirs, Kazakhstan follows, and eventually, Transnistria joins the dance. The end game? Surrounding Russia with zones of instability. However, this scenario seems unlikely. The US isn't the same superpower it once was. After Afghanistan and the costly involvement in the conflict between Russia and the West, America's appetite for multiple confrontations has diminished. The Pentagon has started remembering that wars aren't just about budgets, they're about body bags too. What we're likely seeing is more about optics than operations. It's a media spectacle with real explosives. Think of it as a photo op with missiles, backdrop courtesy of smoldering hangars in Isfahan. Yet the implications shouldn't be dismissed. This was a real strike that violated international norms, met with silence from self-proclaimed justice advocates. Europe conveniently went on vacation. NATO transformed into a decorative houseplant. The usual script played out. Some struck, others stayed silent, and a few posed for selfies against smoking ruins. Moscow watches this political disco with a knowing smirk and a cup of tea. They understand the difference between posturing and genuine strategy. This flurry of activity reveals not strength, but fear. Fear of losing control. Fear of appearing weak. Fear of Beijing potentially setting new global rules. Now we wait for Trump's next move. If this was just to prove he still has it, mission accomplished. But if this was just the overture, well, the good news is it's still just the beginning. The bad news? The orchestra has more than just trumpets in its arsenal. What do you think about these events? Share your thoughts. I'm sure my viewers are intelligent experts, and I'm very interested in your perspective.